Welcome to this video. Today I will show you why cybersecurity is an important issue in the Internet of Medical Things. I will also give you 5 advices you can follow to improve the cybersecurity of your medical device software. I'm Joachim from ITK. If you look at the medical device market, for a long time such devices were mostly local and embedded devices with very few interfaces, maybe a touch screen or at most a USB port to apply software updates or something like that. With the upcoming Internet of Medical Things, however, things change and devices are connected to each other. Think about the connected operation room, for example, or even connections to cloud services to realize use cases like predictive maintenance, software updates, or even pay-per-use scenarios. So we can ask, do we really have to care for cybersecurity in such scenarios? And I'm pretty sure if you have subscribed to this channel, you won't ask such a question. Anyway, let me give you 3 reasons why cybersecurity is very important in the Internet of Medical Things. The reason number 1 is the medical market is a regulated market. So if you want to sell your product in the United States, for example, the FDA is responsible for this market and published cybersecurity guidelines you have to follow. In the European Union, however, the guideline is far less specific. However, this year, the upcoming ISO 81001-5-1, which cares for cybersecurity activities in health software and health IT systems, is coming and will give us very specific guidelines. The second reason is that you are working with personal data, and you surely know the General Data Protection Regulation, which poses very high fines to your company if you lose any data. This is even more true for health data, because think you lose your blood values, for example. Health data like blood values don't change at all or are valid for a very long time. And if some unauthorized people get knowledge about your blood values, maybe your HIV status or something like that, this information is of very high value because you cannot change it. You cannot block it like your credit card you lose. You cannot call the bank and or your doctor and get a new HIV status, get new blood values like you do with your credit card. So health data have to protect it. Reason number 3 is you are protecting human lives, because behind each medical device there is a human being, and if you care for cybersecurity, you actively contribute to protect this human being from getting harmed by cybersecurity attacks. So I think we agree that cybersecurity is a very important thing you have to care when developing software for the Internet of Medical Things. So just let me give you 5 ideas, 5 advices you can follow as a starting point to improve your cybersecurity when you develop software for your medical device. Advice number 1, it's the most obvious advice, is to follow the regulatory guidelines. Think of you want to publish your software in the US American market. You just take the FDA cybersecurity guideline, follow the steps there, and then you have some baseline security. If you want to go to the European market, however, we just said the guideline is very less specific. What you can do here is use some checklists, cybersecurity checklists, like the one from the Jona Institute. The Jona Institute is a very trusted source for such checklists in the European market, and I will make a link in the video description so you can just look it up if you are interested in this checklist. And you take this checklist and go through the points, document what action you take because of some checklist points, and place this documentation into your medical documentation as part of your product. So both actions, either for the US American market or for the European market, will only give you as baseline security. So there's always much room for improvements. So we directly go to advice number 2, which is encrypt health data as well when stored and in transit. We remember the drastically high fines from the GDPR if you lose data, and you surely do not want to be in the newspaper because your medical product lose health data to unauthorized people, right? So make sure that always when you are transferring data from one device to another device, you use an end-to-end encryption. And if you store medical data on your device, you use a secure on-disk encryption. So advice number 3 is to reduce attack vectors wherever it's possible. Let me give you an example here. If you want to implement a remote maintenance function to get access to your product from the internet, you could implement this by opening a port in the device 24 hours, 7 days a week. And if the service technician wants to access the device, he uses this open port. But don't do that. Give the device the control to the local device and to the local user. So the user has to explicitly enable this remote access function in the device. And after that, the interface is established and remote accessibility is possible. This way, you also reduce the attack vector, but also you address a very important safety issue because you make sure that the device is not accessed while being in medical operation mode. Another idea to reduce the attack vector is to narrow down the interface regarding the number of authorized users. Take, for example, the system time. The system time setting is something you could think, can everybody change on the device? However, if you allow everybody to change the system time, you can make very weird things regarding certificate validation in your product, and it might be that your product won't work anymore. So you should surely take control who changes the system time in your device. Another nice effect of this is that you always know who did an operation on your device, which directly leads me to advice number 4. It's to implement an audit log mechanism. An audit log is a log file which logs any critical write operation in your medical device. It's like a syslog, but it's tamper-proof, so you cannot change entries afterwards. And if you have a security incident and want to reconstruct what happens, you just take this audit log. In the audit log, there are entries who did what in the device at what point of time and with which result. And you can reconstruct what was done on the device. You can reconstruct maybe your safety or security issue and use this audit log as a trusted source. Advice number 5, last but not least, is create a medical product your customers can really trust. Imagine you create a product and have fancy stuff in there, connecting to the cloud, transferring data, having nice predictive maintenance algorithms. You come to your customer before the device is broken because you have fancy predictive maintenance stuff and so on. But the customer does not enable this feature because he does not trust that you care for the personal data on the device, that you are able to establish a certain cybersecurity level. What can you do? I just recommend you to write a data protection and cybersecurity data sheet and explain in this data sheet what data is stored on the device, how it is processed, how do you encrypt it, what do you do in case of some cybersecurity incident, how do you roll out cybersecurity updates, in what time frame do you update this, do you publish these updates, and establish a trusted relation to your customer. So I hope I could give you some insight. That's from my side. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or if you have further ideas what we can do in the Internet of Medical Things, let me know. Write it in the comments. I'm very happy to answer you. From now, it's all from me. Goodbye.